and kind of the regulations around that.
Yeah.
Also talk a little bit about business advertising
Yeah,
and stuff.
because communication is, key to business. If they don't know you're there,
You're not there.
right.
It's
You
pretty
don't
simple.
exist.
That's exactly right.
So he is, where'd we go? The general manager of the local radio station.
Yes, a co-owner of Sonny Broadcasting Company here in the area. Has 2 radio stations. One of them is 93.1 The Wolf. Formerly, maybe some of you known it as The River, but it's changed the country over the past year. And also Joy 990 AM. So he's been there and been in the industry for 17 years.
Yeah, I started there when it was easy listening.
That was a few years ago.
That was scary.
Yeah.
That was in the 80s, and then we changed to rock, and then it went through different types of rock and different letters and craziness.
It's made its changes over the year.
Yeah.
We're happy with where we're at now, though.
Okay.
But that's all a part of business. That's all a part of keeping up with the current trends and the current market.
Well, I guess it's not that station I was at.
No.
It was that location.
That was the location, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
because now Huntington owns that part of it.
They moved it to Huntington, and we got the great opportunity a few years ago to purchase 93.1 and bring it to Gallipolis, seeing that 101 was going to move out of the area. A town without a radio station, it's not good to be in a town without a radio station or any way to get your word out.
Right.
And if there's something, one of the big things about having a radio station, we talked about this before, was if there is a tragedy in your community, electric goes off, TVs don't work, cell phones die, all you have left is radio. So, and we take that very seriously. You need to at least inform what's going on. And we've had a couple of those happen the last probably 10 years. So.
You had the derecho, and then we had the ice storm that took down a tower out there, didn't it? Were you there then?
A piece of ice fell through off the tower into the transmitter.
Oh.
So our AM station, 990, was the only one left on the air at the time, and we didn't know it then, but we could have turned the power up on our AM station and kept it 24 hours under that certain emergency. We could have kept it up. We had more requests that week on our AM station than we've ever had, because it was the only station on the air, and if you didn't like what we were playing, then people would call in and go, "You're killing me here. You got to play something different for a little bit." Or so, but it's very important in order to get that information out.
Yeah, I realized the importance of broadcasting when I was in the Army. I worked at American Forces Network, and then after that we attacked Iraq. And what was the first thing that they attacked? It was a radio and TV station, so that people couldn't communicate. They're like,
cut off communications first thing.
Right.
Right.
So
Don't
maybe I'm
tell
not in the
anybody
safest
that.
place.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they say about those radio guys. I think
Yeah,
they
that's
put them
right.
there for a reason.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, working in radio, one reason I liked it, it truly takes all kinds. You have all your DJs, which have personalities, and they have different personalities. And you got sales guys, which have one personality. You have engineers who are totally different than like anybody else, and you got your managers, and just that whole conglomeration of these strange people makes it really fun, I think.
Oh, we've always had fun.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things when we bought the station, I said we're going to have fun. If you're going to own a radio station, at least have fun doing it. So,
because it comes across.
Oh yeah, not only that, we get to do things that most people don't get the opportunity to do. We just released this morning that Garth Brooks is coming to Charleston, so we get to get real involved in that show. So a lot of things that most people never get the opportunity to do, we've gotten to do. Over 17 years, I've gotten to do things that I never would have been able to do working any other job. Once you get it in your blood, it's in there.
Oh, yeah.
You never want to leave it. Yeah.
So business should be good this year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We
Because-
love political years.
Right.
Yes.
Political years, you're not probably ever starving during a political year because everybody wants to be on. And it's probably a juggling act to satisfy all your political advertising and still keep all your usual ads on that you have during the, your supermarkets and all that other type of thing.
Right. When we're doing well with the new format that we have, so one of the battles that we have is not too many commercials, because you have to keep that down because you'll lose listenership if you have too many commercials. But I think we're going to be just fine. There's different ways that we change things around a little bit, so it doesn't sound like you're hearing commercials every time you turn it on.
Right.
But yeah, political, absolutely. We love political season. They would love to get elected, and in order to get elected, you have to get your message out. But we're not the only one that they get their message out on. You see the signs, you see TV, you see newspaper, radio is part of that. So as long as they keep a consistent message, and we stay in the middle. We try not to go either way with it. We don't have a talk show or a political talk show, so I don't get in the middle of it.
We used to do one here and then take it to 99. Well, it's the AM side. You used to take it there on
990.
990.
Yeah,
I can't remember. Anyway, I would take it there on reel to reel, and they would run it.
that's been a little while ago.
93.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's been years.
I think that would be fun. We ought to look into doing that again, just to have some kind of a format, because I think
we just turn the mics on and talk about stuff.
Really.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to go back to what we've done. Is we went back to old time radio. It went for a while that everybody was satellite, and we were the first one to go satellite. They said it'd never work, and then everybody did it. And I said, well, we're done with this. So we went back to old time radio, and it has worked out really well. DJs, we control everything.
Yeah, that's nice.
Local.
Right.
I think if we could come up with some kind of a format to get local politicians in, I think people would love that, especially if you're not pushing one side or the other. And I know that. I mean, the bad part is you watch TV these days, and it seems like whichever channel you want to watch is what your candidates, they want your candidate to win.
Right.
And what we try to do is just keep that right in the middle and hopefully get that point across.
I know in the public area, you have to, if one's party or one candidate says one thing, you have to provide equal time for the other side.
When it comes to charging for political advertising, we have what's called lowest rate. Whatever we charge anybody to be on the air, that lowest rate, we have to charge the political candiets. So
you just can't charge the Republicans more?
No, I wouldn't anyways.
Yeah.
But you can charge. You have to charge the same price for all of them. We do have the right to do it for free, which makes no sense. I mean, this is a business show. Don't ever do it for free.
Right.
But if you wanted to do it for free, you had to do it for free for everybody.
Right.
So you got lowest rate. There's no questioning what the rate is. It's all paid in advance. We like that too, because if you don't win, you're probably not going to pay for your advertising. So everything's paid in advance. And we try to stay away from writing the commercials or really getting involved in that too much. That could make a big issue on who gets elected if I write a very good commercial for somebody and that person gets elected. That's not very fair to the other person.
Right. Yeah, maybe you felt more inspired by one.
Well, you try to stay away from that. Though.
Right.
Yeah, you don't want to get in the middle of that. So we do the best we can to stay neutral as much as we can. And we deal with a lot of local. So even with this year's election, we have a lot of people who are running that are very good people. So it's easy to stay in the middle of that. We could argue presidential all day long.
Right.
Once you get to local, typically they're good people. They're running, and you want the best one to win, but you want a good fight.
You mentioned local. That's a bulk of your advertising that comes through is the local races. Do you have any of the regional races or the state? Do they do business with you as well on those levels?
Yes, we'll get presidential.
Okay.
We'll get local, presidential, we'll get statewide, and we're right on the border. So if we could get West Virginia also, because
Right.
we'll get West Virginia, we'll get Ohio, sometimes we'll get Kentucky.
Well, yeah, that was kind of my issue there, or my question is because you're right there on the river.
Right.
So you do have a big market into Kentucky and West Virginia as well.
Right.
So really, that's kind of a good thing.
It is
You tap
really
into
good.
a lot of pockets of
That's
money.
right.
That's right.
Yeah. Doesn't break my heart at all.
That's right.
And the further away, I typically don't know who they are
Right.
anyway, so I just, yes,
right.
we'll run it.
Absolutely.
Send us all your advertising. We love
good.
it. Yeah.
It's kind of a sweet spot.
Yeah, but the rules and regulations are very strict because you have to be fair to everybody. You know, even though personally you may want one or the other to win, you can't let that show. And I think as the rules and regulations go, I think they've got it down pat pretty well. I think they can.
Do you have to add that same thing to the end that, this commercial was
Paid for by-
this
paid
for
for
by the
by?
candidate so-and-so treasurer.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have to put that in there. We also have to, if, say, you two were running against each other, and Mike, you came in first, and you bought advertising, well, when he came in to run his advertising, he could look at what you bought. We have to show them exactly what's purchased by.
Okay.
So you can walk in and say, hey, he bought 20 spots, I want to buy 30 spots. And then you come back and say, oh, he bought 30 spots, I want to buy 50 spots.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I like it
And
when
you don't have a problem with that
I have
either.
no problem whatsoever with that. Yeah. They could do that all day long. Get in a fight, argue back and forth, and spend a bunch of money. We
right.
like that.
And it's good that it's prepaid because radio is a tough business because if somebody doesn't pay for whatever it is service you had, it went out on the air and there's no way to get it back because
Right.
it's not like a car. It's like, well, we repossessed the car. It's like it went out and people heard it.
Well, the funny
It's
thing
done.
is, and it's a business show, so we've talked about it. Funny thing is, everybody thinks it's free. You're selling air. I mean, it's free, right? You don't have any expenses.
Oh, right.
Tell them, run a two 5,000 watt light bulbs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's just one of the small
Yeah, that's
deals.
the electric bills for the transmitters alone are several thousand.
Yeah, and then you've got the government you deal with. That's so much fun.
What, the FCC?
That's a whole story in itself.
Yeah.
The FCC. And they have their fees, which really at this point make no sense. I mean, I don't even know where they come up with the fees, but you pay the fees. And then we have to pay to play the music.
Right.
So it's
As
not
a ASCAP
really?
BMI.
ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC. All three of them you have to pay. So it's not cheap, and we have bills to pay. And the only way that we make money is through advertising.
Right. The music doesn't pay for it. The music is actually costing.
Yeah, we have to pay for the music, and that's what I think people don't understand is, it isn't cheap to run a radio station.
No. And do you have a program director, or do you have a music service that tells you like play orders and all that type
Oh
of
no, Tina's our program director. She picks every song that we play.
thing? Okay.
Now we have a computer program that helps with that, but the songs that we put into our system, Tina decides what songs play, what songs don't play. So back to old time radio.
Okay.
We had a
cool.
service that whatever they said to play, we played, and
Right.
then everybody started sounding alike, and I didn't like that. So we've
Right.
been the first. You never become number one by following ever. So we're not going to follow anybody, and we'll be the first one to try everything. And that means you make mistakes, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Well, I guess I was going to say, how do you tell that you've made a mistake? I guess that would be ratings.
Well, yeah, we're in an unranked market, which means they drop 56 books off in our area, and 56 people tell you how many people are listening to your radio station. Well, I found a better way to do this, and that is through Facebook. And we are pushing right now 30,000 likes on our Facebook page.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
And we found out that about 10 to 15% of your listeners will actually get involved in a radio station. So if you can take that and add it up and do your math, you can figure out really how many listeners you have. And we're thrilled to death. We're beating every radio station in the market, quadruple most of them. So as far as ratings go, you can pay for the service if you want to. They want almost $3,000 a quarter to tell you how good you are. Or we can figure out, hey, people are liking us on Facebook for a reason, and they're listening to us. And when we go out and do remotes, they show up with the remotes, and the businesses are happy.
Right.
So they're getting a return on their advertising. As long as they get a return on their advertising, we're happy.
Right.
They can say that we're the worst radio station in the world, but as long as the advertisers are happy and they're getting a response, I know we're not. And I know that they're happy, I'm happy, everybody's happy.
Right.
You know, when they came to me and said, Dave, we need you to switch the country, I said, no, not going to do it. And I went to Tina and said, ask Tina, she's a program director. And she said yes. So, you know, being married to her, we switched it to country. And it has been the best move we ever made. And just because you're general manager doesn't mean you're the one who makes all the decisions.
Right.
You put the right people in the right places, and you listen to them. And that was scary, because you could lose every advertiser you got when you switch that format.
Right.
We lost 0 advertisers and gained, well, we're up 40%.
Oh, that's really good.
I'm very happy with that.
So it's 2 stations you're running?
Right. 990 WJH, been there 66 years.
Right. So what are you running on that?
We have played around with this station for a little bit because AM's very tough at this point.
Right.
Very tough to, we still have listenership on it, but the listenership is dying off. And we have to figure out how to continue to make money on AM stations. And it's not real easy to do.
And people have tried digital AM, stereo AM, and all kinds of other things, but I'm not sure if the receivers are in the same place.
Well, the newest thing that they've came out with are these translators. You can get a translator on an AM station like 990, and it'll be a 250 watt FM station then. So whatever you play on the AM station, you can open up a new FM station in your market. The only issue these days is there's too many radio stations out there to begin with. And then if you figure out a way to add more of these little tiny radio stations that are not going to do anything, it makes no sense for the investment you've got to put into it for what I'm looking at. So it's not, they thought it might be a answer to AM, but it hasn't been yet.
Yeah. They've been trying to figure that out for the last 20 years plus, is what do we do with AM?
Well, it's a great signal, and I was looking into, could you somehow get data across it, or even change completely, you know, take your AM station and do something with that frequency that you have and maybe work on it, but it's such a low frequency that, you know, it'd take you 2 days to load a page up on the internet, so you can't use it for that. So we'll figure something out though. We'll leave it. To answer your question, we're doing Southern Gospel.
Okay.
And it's working. We had a Southern Gospel station in the area, and it went away, and we replaced it, and I think it's going to work real well for our area.
Okay.
Good. Getting on to the business side a little bit, you know, you talked about, you know, this is the kind of year you like where some of those revenues come in, and obviously not every year is a big election year.
Just every 4 years, yeah.
And not the whole year long is a big election year.
No, it isn't.
So, you know, obviously you rely a lot on local businesses.
That's right.
And what are some of the benefits of it? You know, what if I am a local business owner and I have a product or service I need to get that message out?
Right.
What's the benefits of me coming to you, and what can you do for me?
Well, why I love radio. Years ago, I could have went to TV, and I decided against it. First of all, it's fun. Second of all, it's immediate. I love radio because it's immediate, and we reach most people minutes before they make a purchase of any kind. You know, they're listening to us in the car and they decide they want to eat. You know, you can reach these people minutes before they make that decision. TV, you're usually at home. You're not out running around. So it does, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't work for restaurants. Right. I'm just saying for us, it's immediate. And you can see the immediate response off of advertising. Plus, it's not as expensive as what TV is. I mean, you can buy a commercial at our station for $10. You buy WSAZ News, I'll just throw a number out, $300 to $500 for one commercial. There's a big difference between the two. Now they're reaching hundreds of thousands of people, and we're not reaching hundreds of thousands of people. So, but for local, we are there. We are local owners. People know who we are. Plus, if you have a local business that you want to get pushed, a lot of times your budget is in a $500,000 budget.
Right.
We deal with local businesses with small budgets who have to make it work. It's, I believe, a lot harder for what we do than what it is to be a national company or deal with national companies. We deal with these people every day, going to work. We are very important to them. If we don't work, their business could go down. And
Like school announcements in the morning.
yeah, well,
Like when it snows.
well, we stopped doing that.
Really?
Yeah, the reason why is because the school put in a calling system.
Oh,
So they call
right.
all the students now, and we were getting in the car. It was always bad weather, and I was always having DJs get in the car, drive in on bad roads, go in, and with kids in school, I figured out they're going to know it before we even get there because we find out the same way that they find out.
Okay.
So, and Facebook has went nuts when it comes to that. No school today. Boop, 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 boop. It's all over the
Right.
place. So, there are some changes that we've made, and that's one of those changes. That school announcements we don't need to do anymore.
Okay.
Which is
I mean,
great.
back in my day when I went.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah,
how
we
we
tuned
that's
in.
how we heard. As schools closed today, you better listen to the radio. And
Right.
now it's call.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere before we even get to the station. So, but local news we're very good at. I mean, if something happens, we don't do school news, but we do. If there's and it's happened a few times that there's been school bus wrecks or your kid's not getting home when you think that they're going to get home, and they will listen to the radio to find out what's being done, where are they at. It's very important. Especially at the time of the 3 o'clock hour is very important.
Right. And when you were talking about TV versus radio, I've worked in both, and the cool thing about TV is, hey, I can show somebody a picture,
Yes.
and that has its own freedom. But in radio, things are much simpler, and it's cheaper, and you can paint the picture for them. In telling a story, even in TV. Audio and what you're saying, the script is most important. It's not just the picture.
Right.
So the way you paint the story with your voice and telling it, that has its own freedom. You're not limited by budgets.
Right. Right.
If you want to tell this grandiose story, you can do it on radio, and it would take millions of dollars on TV.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
And I think that's what makes it so much fun. When I went to Tina, and we only have a couple minutes left, but I went to Tina and I said, honey, I really need you to do the morning show. And she said, I don't want to get up that early. And
Yeah.
there's a problem with being the general manager to your wife. And I said, honey, it's not a request. I don't know how to put this, but I really need you on the morning show. And she said,
Honey bun.
yeah.
Sugar muffin.
And she said, okay, but you have to do it with me. And I said, no, because I don't want to get up that early either, so why would... But
You're no glutton for punishment.
Yeah, needless to say, I'm doing a morning show with her, and she was absolutely right. We hear it all the time, how much they love the banter between the two of us.
Oh, it's having done radio, it's terrible to sit in a studio by yourself
Yes.
and
Yeah.
talk to the walls. I mean,
Right.
there's people out there, but there's no back and forth.
I always said it's got to be the most boringest job in the world, sit there behind a mic and talk all day long. I didn't want to do it. I told her I didn't like doing it. I don't want anything to do with it. And I'm doing it because I'm married to her. So, but we are having an absolute blast at it.
Right.
It's a lot of fun. She picks on me. What's unique about it is in radio today, it's hard to find a radio station that has a female as the #1 DJ in the morning show.
The lead,
The lead.
not just support or color or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah, I'm the support to her, 100%. She's the DJ, and I just sit there and look pretty for radio. So
Yeah, there you
I
go.
got that face for radio. So.
And it's gotten easier. I think all of your music's on hard drives now.
Right. Right. Yeah. We.
Back when I started it, we were spinning 45s.
Yes.
And
yeah.
back then, the songs weren't nearly as long either.
No,
Two and a half minutes.
Welcome to country, 3 minutes.
Really?
I mean, you got 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and 3 minutes. And when we did classic rock, I loved that.
Yeah.
They had 6-minute songs in classic rock. I mean, you could start it and go do something.
I'm going to
and come
play
back.
Inagata Davida and go take lunch.
That's right. Yeah, you don't have that. You don't have that ability today. You
Right.
better stack 4 or 5 songs before you go anywhere. But it is easier today. You used to have the carts that you played the commercials
Right.
on.
And the
you switched
equipment
those
maintenance.
out. Yeah. And
But there was their fun in that.
Hey, yeah, that's why they call them disc jockeys.
Yeah. And do you still walk the ramps and all that on the songs or not?
Walk the ramps.
Right.
What is walking the ramps?
The amount of time between the music starting and
Oh,
the-
yeah.
Okay. Maybe it's an old term. I don't know.
I don't.
Back in my day.
I am not a DJ. Remember, I don't do the DJ. But yes, you blend them together, and Tina does all that.
Yeah.
We'll have to get Tina on here one day.
But that comes with its own rush to talk right up until the singer starts.
Well,
and
we have
to
a
that
computer
skill.
program now that counts down the songs, and then it'll count down the music part of the song, so before the word starts. So they've got it a little easier
Yeah.
than what it used
Yeah.
to be.
Computers make it most things easier.
Well, if you know how to run them.
Right.
Yeah. DJs and computers.
Yeah.
That should scare you right there.
Right. Yeah. One time when I was engineer, I tuned in just to check and see how the transmitter was doing. We were off the air, and so I called the DJ. It's like, "What's going on?" Like, "Nothing." And you could hear the music in the background. It was great.
Yeah.
Like, "What are you listening to?" Program. It's like, "Go over to the air channel."
Yeah. Off the air.
Oh, we're off the air. Holy.
Yeah. Off the air. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, DJs are great with saying, "I didn't do it. It's the computer."
Right.
Yeah, it's the computer. I'm like, it only does what you tell it to do. So.
Right. Well, I think that about wraps it up. So
It does.
it was
Thank you
fun
very
having
much.
you on.
It
Thank
was a
you.
great
will
conversation.
Yeah.
I appreciate coming on. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And thank you guys out there in TV land or the internet land or interwebs or however you want to say it for watching. And we'll see you next month on Strictly Business.